Good morning. This is the Outdoor Artist with a look at the putting green and the raised bed next to the putting green. It's a lovely morning in May and you can see the sprinkler hard at work here. Got 3 sprinklers installed to cover the 6,000 square foot area, and you can see the site of the bent grass emerging. We've been through quite a spring here, quite a bit of cold, wind, rain, even a polar vortex. But we're finally getting to the point that things are looking halfway decent. Now you'll notice that we've begun to rake the straw that was there to help that grass get going in terms of holding moisture and so forth. Eventually, though, you've got to get that off of there or it will smother the grass. So that's a kind of a delicate operation of, you're not really raking it very hard, you're more or less just picking that straw off with the rake. And you've got to do that after things have dried out a little bit, so you wouldn't want to do that in a damp or wet condition like you're going to get after these sprinklers. So these sprinklers are on a 15-minute interval, taking turns, so it takes 45 minutes or so to water the whole thing. A couple things to point out. We had what I would call a gully washer in terms of a rain last Friday, I believe it was. So today is Wednesday, so this is about 5 or 6 days ago. And I'll take a walk here and just point out to you, I think you should be able to see it, an example of what happened. If you look partway up the green there, you'll see what looks like a big bear claw mark or something. That's actually a stream of water. I think we got over an inch of rain in about, I'd say, 3 or 4 hours at the most, maybe even more than an inch. It was a lot of rain in a hurry, and created these gully washers. I probably got perhaps 10. When we get back from that sprinkler, it seems to be wanting to say good morning to me. We probably had at least 10 of these gully washers throughout the green that I'm going to have to repair. Fortunately, I have some emergency inventory of material in terms of the USGA spec sand and soil mixture, and so I'm going to declare a state of emergency and put that to good use. Also, within a short period of time, I'm going to have to start mowing the green, and so in that regard, we have a Toro powered reel greens lawnmower ordered from it's coming out of Phoenix, Arizona, and that should do a good job. It'll take hopefully a week or so to get here in time for the first mowing, but we'll give an update on that once that arrives. While I'm in this area, though, I wanted to give you also just a peek at the raised bed that we put in several weeks ago, and there's a couple of changes. One is we transplanted a currant bush here, and that currant bush has been growing actually for probably, believe it or not, that's about I'm going to estimate 10-year-old currant bush that was planted in a poor location to the side of our garage, where the only thing it got was a little bit of light, maybe in the afternoon, late afternoon. It got a little light, and it was under a tree, and there's a lot of things that we did wrong, I believe, in terms of the plant health. So we planted 2 of them. One of them we decided to transplant here, which is going to do a lot of things for it in terms of light. We set up the sprinklers also so that there's moisture, and so with any kind of luck we'll have some nice currants. Also, in the garden itself, you'll see a row here coming up. I'll get in a little closer, of onions, and there's a nice one there. row of onions. Planted those a little bit closer together down here so we can get some nice green onions, and then a little bit farther apart up there so that we can let those grow to maturity and have some big onions for later in the year. Probably August or September before we harvest those, but these we'll start harvesting earlier for salads and whatnot. On this side, there's also a row of spinach that we planted. That was just last week. We put in a row of spinach, and so that will come up, and then we'll have some fencing just to protect that spinach from encroachment. And when I say encroachment, I mean being eaten by deer, rabbits, woodchucks, what have you. The other thing I might point out is we've installed a post here. Just took two pieces of pressure treated 2x4 and screwed those together and installed them, and we'll have a small solar panel mounted there with a battery charger, and with that we'll probably power up a small electric fence around the green just to keep the deer off of the green, because in addition to these gully washer type ruts, and here's a good example of that, the other thing we're getting is big deer prints as they stroll across the green, so we don't have to put up with that for the next X number of years. So we'll get them trained to stay away. I'd take you out and show you a couple of those, but I've got some work boots on, and the green is in a fragile state where you only want to go on it with flat work shoes, like a sneaker or something. So stay off of that and let that get a little bit more stabilized. I'm hoping that once that's repaired and we get some of that bent grass seed and roots more specifically growing, it'll help stabilize these areas, and those gully washers won't happen in the future, because this is not the last time we're going to get an inch of rain in a short period of time. We'll have quite a bit of straw. You can see all around the perimeter. Took about 8 bales of straw altogether. So we'll have quite a bit of straw that we'll find a use for. Part of it in our enclosed garden. We're already putting it there for mulch. And we'll have some other ways to recycle that and get the most use out of that. So we'll have some fun with that. Okay, that's it for now. This is your outdoor artist, signing off.